Well, hello, beautiful souls. Welcome back to another exciting episode of Light Work and Life Talk with me, Allison Rozzel. Yes, this is a space where we talk all things healing, power, and purpose for Black women and women of color who are over 40. So I welcome you. If this is your first time, welcome. If it's not your first time and you're a return listener, welcome. So yes, my name is Allison Rozzel. I am a Reiki master healer and teacher. I am also a spiritual empowerment coach for women, Black women, and women of color in particular, who are 40 and over. So today I'm getting a little personal. Yeah. Yeah, I'm getting a little personal. Excuse me. So first and foremost, thank you to everyone that reached out to me last week. I had posted on my YouTube channel that I was not going to post a new episode because I was under the weather. It hit me all of a sudden on Saturday evening, and it just went full throttle after that. And I'm like, okay, I haven't been sick in a long time. And I was like, okay, this is really sucky. I don't like this. And so yeah, I'm just getting over. I'm just able to breathe again as of like um at the time of this recording it's on a Sunday. So that was like on Thursday or Friday when I was actually able to breathe again. So yeah, it's been a journey, but I appreciate all the well wishes, the love, the Reiki, the prayers, everything. I love you all so much. I have the best community in the world. I do. And I know a lot of people say that, but you know, my community is very braggadocious. Okay. We just community full of just beautiful, bright, badass women. Okay? All right. So I'm still a little nasally, still a little snotty. So excuse me in advance. I may have to clear my throat a couple of thousand times. So yeah, forgive me for that. All right. So as you can see by the title, we're talking about redefining wellness. And I'm going specifically talking about my weight loss journey and spiritual healing and how those two go together. So I just want to take you behind the scenes, if you will, of my wellness journey, um, because it's not just the weight loss part, um, but there's a deeper transformation that I am going through right now. And it's the mindset shifts. It's the emotional healing. It's the spiritual reconnection. So today I want to talk about what wellness means to me now, at the age of 50, what it means to me now, and how it's become a sacred act of self love and self respect for me. Okay. So grab your favorite beverage. I've got my protein coffee over here and it is so yummy. And I've also got my water too. Excuse me, but we are going to get down on it and talk about it. So if you're ready, let's go. All right, so I take a little swig of water. So excuse me, because I knew that was happening. All right, so let's talk about it. What wellness used to mean to me and what it means to me now. So let me just keep it real. Let me just keep it a buck. Let me just be just like for real, for real. For a long time, wellness for me um, was about shrinking. Okay. It was about shrinking my body, shrinking my presence, shrinking my desires. And it was just rooted in a lot of shame and not a lot of self love. So, for those that have been rocking with me for a while, you may remember me talking about this, but I'll go ahead and talk about it because it's all relative to what I'm dealing with now. So back in 2014-ish, but more into 2015. We'll just say 2015 to 2016. I went on a weight loss journey. And I was like, I want to be fit. I want to feel better. I want to look good in my clothes. And, I'm tired of just being just this fat bitch. I want to lose some weight. Okay. Um, so I went on this journey. Now, what inspired me was this. Now, keep in mind, this is pre-COVID, right? So the company that I was working for at the time, we were working, of course, in office. And some of my coworkers would talk about the different things that they did. Like they had these really like active lives. Like this one guy, and he still is, um, he was a runner and he would always talk about running. And then there was another young lady and she was talking about like some of the fitness things that she would do. She would run sometimes, but then there were other things like she would go and take these different classes and all this. And then there were other people that were like dieting or just, watching their weight or whatever. So, of course, when you're surrounded by people who are doing all these things, you're like, well, I kind of want to do something because, I wanna look good. So it was interesting. The guy that was running, uh, his name is Thomas. I'm sure if he were to ever hear this, he'd be, okay with me saying his name. It's not like I'm telling you his last name, but he was in several actually running clubs, and he would tell me he was like, Allison, if you want to, first of all, we would talk about relationships and stuff. So he was like, well, if you want to find you a good man, come to, the running club thing, blah, blah, blah. And I said, Thomas, I'm going to stop you right there. Allison does not run. Okay. Allison does not run. Allison will only run if someone is chasing her. That's the only way. Or if I'm having to defend like my mama or my son. But Allison don't run. Okay, we just don't do that around here. First of all, I would need an industrial strength sports bra for that. And then second of all, yeah, that's just never been my ministry. Just gonna keep it real. Running is just not my thing. Never has been. Never will be. Never ever had the desire to just start taking off running. I just don't want to do it. You might get a light jog out of me, a very light jog, but like a really strong power walk though. Oh, I'm your girl. We gonna walk. We gonna walk. So anyway, um, I started doing more talking to my coworkers, and there was this one coworker. She was talking about this app that she had joined that was kind of like an online gym, if you will. And I started seeing a lot of advertisements for them and whatever. And it was called Daily Burn. So I joined that and I immediately fell in love with it. I started working out regularly. I started changing my diet and how I ate. I started paying attention to like the foods I was eating, how much water am I drinking, etc. So I was doing great. I was on a mission. And long story short, I lost a little over 65 pounds, somewhere between 65 and 70 pounds. Now, granted, I wasn't even as heavy then as I am now. Like, it was, your girl looked good. Okay. When I lost that weight, your girl was looking good, was feeling good. I went shopping and bought clothes in like the quote unquote normal clothing store. I felt really good. Like, not I felt good because it was like I was excited that I lost all this weight. Well, here's the thing. The problem with that whole thing, not it wasn't the weight loss itself. The problem was I didn't do any kind of healing work. I didn't. I didn't go see a therapist. I didn't I didn't go see a therapist. I didn't uh I hadn't started my spiritual journey not completely. I was kind of like straddling the fence around that time. Um so I didn't have that strong relationship, if you will, with spirit, with myself. I still was not loving myself. And in the way when I lost that weight, the love for myself became very superficial based on the weight that I was losing. It's like, oh, okay, now that I'm losing this weight, I can now love myself. Does that make sense? Like that. And that was very that set me up to to basically fail. And some people may be like, well, you could have kept it going and all this other stuff. Listen, I tried, but here's the thing. In 2016, and I talk about this a little bit in my book, starting over at 40. Um, in 2016, I lost my apartment, I lost my car, and I had to move in with my mother and my aunt. And that was a big blow to me mentally and emotionally, as well as spiritually, because I was extremely angry at God and I was extremely angry at myself. And so, since I hadn't addressed any of my mental health, any of my emotional health, my spiritual health, that losing weight was just that. I lost weight, but I did not obtain, in my opinion, true wellness. Stay with me. So during in 2016, when all of that happened, I did try to maintain my weight loss. I was still working out and everything else, but um, the more my emotions were getting the best of me, the more my mind started. Um, I don't want to be like Ghetto Boys, my mind playing tricks on me. But the more my mind was more of just going to a place of, you are such a failure. Look at what you did. You took this chance knowing full well that it was not going to work, but you did it anyway. And I beat myself up so badly. So I don't have any money. I don't have really anything. And I'm now living with two people that are not on a wellness journey, even in the slightest. So the foods that I was no longer eating, they had. And I wanted comfort. I wanted to feel better. So I started back eating those things that I should not have been eating. And then so on and so forth. It took a toll. And then, needless to say, the hard work that I did to lose all of that weight, I gained it back. I gained it back. And the more things that life has dealt me, and the more blows to my my mental and emotional and spiritual life, um, the more weight I began to put on. And it's not that I wanted to gain that weight. It's not that this is really hard to talk about. It's not that I want it to be big because I don't think anybody really sets out to do that, but it's just that the unhealed parts of me showed up in full force and caused me to spiral. And it's happened to me a couple of times. So even with me being on my spiritual journey, even with me still healing a lot of parts of me, there still have been those parts, those times where I've just completely spiraled out and thus contributed to me carrying this weight on my body. I had a health scare in 2023 where I was admitted into the hospital. My blood pressure was super high and they could not get it down. Um, I feel like my anxiety played a big part of that as well. Because the whole time I was in the hospital, I could not relax. And I kept trying to explain that to them. And when you don't have health care workers who understand things like that, and they think, that stuff is just in your head, and then they dismiss it, and then you don't necessarily feel the support, even like in your family or whatever. Um, it just makes the weight even harder and harder to carry. So in 2023, when that health scare happened, I had vowed that I wanted to start taking care of myself. And I started out fine, just like normal, but eventually it just, I stopped. Don't know why, but I did. So, excuse me. I know I've been talking a lot and this has been pretty heavy. Um, but please stay with me because I wanna continue on this. So now here I am in 2025. I am on this wellness journey, but this one is different. And, some people could be like, well, it's because you're on that GLP-1. This is why it's different. It's really not. It's that's just a byproduct. That's kind of like a contribution, but that's not why. See, now wellness for me is about wholeness. It's about feeling good in my body, yes, but it's also about my mind and my spirit. It's not just about the numbers on the scale. It's about how aligned I feel because I didn't feel aligned. I always felt, I don't know, it's kind of like a other, you know? I don't know how else to explain that. Hopefully you feel me on that. And this time is about me honoring the temple that is my body, the soul that lives in it. So that is the biggest thing that I can say. Now, mind and emotion, so healing from the inside out. Let's talk about that for a second. So the biggest shift for me started in my mind. I had to unlearn so much stuff. I had to unlearn what beauty is, what health, real health looks like, and who I was supposed to be. Because I always strive to show up for you all as my most authentic self. But let's just be honest. A lot of what people are doing online is still acting. We all do it because we're showing our highlight reels. And when we start being very authentic and vulnerable, sometimes it's not always received. And I think it gets to where the audience almost prefers the performance. Now, don't get it twisted. I'm a Leo, and performance is kind of baked right in for me. I have no problem entertaining people, even when I'm being honest and truthful and just like 100% real. I have no problem of showing that part of me because I mean that's who I am, right? But see, I carried a lot of emotional weight. So it wasn't just physical. It's not just physical. It's about the kind of weight that comes from being the strong one all the time. The strong one all the time. The caretaker for everybody. The one who always just quote unquote pushes through, even when she's exhausted. That was my story. So freaking much. Through journaling, therapy, and yes, you know it, Reiki, I am beginning to release that weight. It is a process. It is a journey. I am not, I'm like light years away from where I want to be, but I am so glad because I started asking myself, is this weight that I'm carrying really mine to carry? Think about the weight, and I've talked about this. Think about the weight that a lot of us carry. It's not just the physical weight, it's the emotional weight. It's the mental weight and the things that others have put upon us, whether they meant to or not. See, wellness to me now means being the best version of myself, mind, body, and spirit. It's not just about me losing physical weight, but it's more about me releasing the weight of my emotions, releasing the weight of shame, of guilt, people pleasing, and all them other shitty self sabotaging habits that have kept me stuck and that have kept me carrying this physical weight. So, shedding the weight that keeps me from showing up fully and whole and healed. And a lot of that weight, when I asked myself, is this really mine to carry? It wasn't. A lot of it wasn't. So, what I had to start doing is leaning into nourishment and not punishment because we can punish ourselves. We can punish ourselves like nobody's business. Once I started striving to release the emotional burdens that I was carrying, my relationship with my body started to shift. I was no longer looking to punish my body with workouts, but rather honor my body with movement. So, not just looking at my workouts as punishment, not just looking at my, uh, whether it's picking up a kettlebell, going outside and walking, whatever it is, honoring my body with movement and not just um, sitting around and not moving my body at all. Excuse me, allowing myself to just move, get up and just move my body. I don't starve my body, I nourish it. I don't shame my body, I adore it. So I'm eating better, moving more, and striving to get better sleep. Still process because I am perimenopausal, so perimenopausal can play a huge part on that sleep, on basically all of it. Let's just be real. But it's not about me being perfect though. And that's the thing. That's the thing that has always held me back. Is that fucking perfectionism. Trying to be perfect. Trying to show up flawless so that I can be acceptable to somebody. I mean, I'll be real. I even did this in my business for like years. I just wanted to be I just wanted to be accepted. And it wasn't that I was being fake. It's just I've been holding back. And some of you might be like, well, dang, how much more can you tell? Because you're pretty authentic, like in sharing your story. I am. But that has been a process for me. I can't I can't coach you on how to come out of your shit if I can't show you how hard it is of me coming out of mine and how I'm standing on the other side. It's so funny. Um, Someone asked me, ever since my birthday, why am I always saying I'm 50? Because number one, I am. But number two, I wasn't supposed to be here. It's like I don't know how else to say this. But I'm a living, breathing testimony. I was not supposed to be here. That time when I went into the hospital, that the way my blood pressure was, the way they were running around trying to get my blood pressure down, the way that like I every freaking test that they could give me, they gave me. And it was like a franticness. I probably no, ain't probably. I shouldn't even be here. In between that and crippling anxiety and depression and thoughts of maybe I just shouldn't be here at all that come in and creep in that you think about or that I was thinking about like I shouldn't be here, but I am. So I'm always say I'm 50 because I made it to that age. I made it. I was blessed to make it to this age. So that's why my wellness journey is so freaking important because I was blessed to make it to this age. Didn't know I would ever be able to open up my mouth and say, I'm 50. It's a lot. And so being perfect is something that I'm no longer looking at. When I start feeling those feelings of trying to show up and be perfect, I'm like, shut the fuck up. It's about me being present. And that started coming out a lot when I did the 14-day Reiki challenge with my community. Being present, being fully present started coming up. And I was like, you know what? This is so much more. This wellness journey is so much more than just losing weight. It's shedding. It's removing like all of these things. Like it's shedding and shifting mindset. It's removing emotional attachments that are not mine. Things that I'm carrying that could be ancestral, familial, that it's not mine to carry, but I took it on. Other people's crap, you know? So I started treating my body like a sacred home. And baby, it's been life changing. Because I can remember my therapist asking me, what do you want? What will make you feel good? And why is it that you aren't striving for that? Why are you putting yourself in position to only take care of and look after other people's needs and not your own? When are you going to start putting yourself first and stop apologizing for putting yourself first? She asked me a whole bunch of stuff. And when I tell you, I sat down with my journal, my thoughts, and I sat and I wrote that out. And I was like, you know what? Hell with all this. I'm putting me first. It's a non negotiable. I don't care what anybody else got going on with themselves. My question is, are you still alive? Is the house on fire? Are you good, health wise? Do we need to go to the emergency room? Okay, nothing like that. Okay, cool. So I'm about to go do something that I want to do for me. I'm about to go take care of something that I want to do for me. So it's been amazing how taking time to get out of the house and go do things that I enjoy for me. It's also me um, thinking about what makes me happy and finding the things that make me happy and doing it. And if it's something I got a plan to do, then sit down and start making the plans. Wellness is spiritual. I'm going to say that one more time. Wellness is spiritual. The deeper I get into my Reiki practice, my meditations, breath work, the more I'm realizing that the way I treat my body is a reflection of how I treat my spirit. And I started reflecting on the fact that I don't need to be perfect to be worthy. I was already worthy. I was deemed worthy when I made that soul contract and came to earth through the vessel of my mother. I was already worthy. I don't have to prove that. And that's another part of it. I'm shedding that I don't have to prove that no more to nobody. And this might sound cruel, and I'm not saying this towards my community, but I had to almost take on the whole persona or thought of fuck them people, you know? And not sitting here worried about who deems me to be worthy and deserving or whatever. Yeah, I'm already worthy. I don't need to be smaller to be radiant, to be beautiful, to be a badass. I don't have to be smaller for that. I am fearlessly, wonderfully, divinely made. So when I care for myself, I am honoring the divine that is within me and without me. And that's what this has been about. That's what this has been for me. That's what I am doing now with my wellness. It's not just, yes, I'm enjoying my protein coffees that I drink almost every morning. I'm enjoying, finding ways to add, it's kind of like a scavenger hunt to add more fiber into my diet and, excuse me, eat foods that make me feel good and not the ones that are going to make me feel like crap later on. Which is not to say that I don't still eat foods that I enjoy, as far as like quote unquote junk food, taking away those labels of foods that are good, that are bad, and just realizing what do I need right now that will nourish me, nourish my body. And then asking myself, what do I need to do today to nourish my spirit? What will nourish me, mind, body, and spirit? I just finished taking like a week and some change off of social media, and I'm kind of feeling like I'm going to go back. Or what may end up happening is I might just post stuff that I post and say to hell with the rest of it. Because, excuse me, since I've been back on it, I'm looking at what people are talking about and I'm like, this is not for me. I don't enjoy it. And I'm done trying to break my neck for an algorithm. It's either people are going to find me and rock with me or they're not. Because my wellness depends on me keeping that attitude. So I want all of us to let's just take a deep breath together and I want you to inhale, I am worthy of wellness, and exhale, I choose wholeness over hustle. I choose love over shame. I am a sacred vessel of healing and light. So, thank you all for joining me in this episode. I appreciate you being here. If you've enjoyed this episode, please make sure you give me a like, follow, subscribe, all the things. And please share. You know, that's one of the things that I'm really trying to understand is what we do. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time saying this, but I just really want to understand, why do we share things that are full of drama and things that are not really good for us with people? And we're quick to recommend a restaurant to somebody or somewhere somebody can buy, a new dress or whatever. We're quick to refer people to that. But when it comes to stuff like this, we keep it to ourselves. I can appreciate gatekeeping, but this is for the 92% and for women of color. So I would appreciate it very much if you would stop withholding and start sharing. Because believe me, the people who it's for, they'll watch it. They'll listen to it. The people that it's not for, they'll scroll on. But I need you to do this and help this community grow. So that's it for that. I want you just to remember that wellness is your birthright and you are already enough. Just as you are. Just as you are. Thank you again. I'm sending you lots of love and I'll see you next time, okay? Bye for now.